My brothers and my sisters, I hope summer is going well, that you are enjoying family and friends and a little vacation time. We are entering into the 16th week of the church year. We just are celebrating the 16th Sunday in ordinary time, and we're plowing our way through Matthew's Gospel. And the parables have been using what we would consider agrarian images. So the parables are talking about sowing and seeds and planting. And one of the images used in this Sunday's parable is that of wheat and weeds. That wheat is a grain, a staple grain, especially for the cultures at Jesus' time, and weeds are what they were then as they are now. Well, a weed, let's face it, it's a weed. What the parable, though, invites us to consider is this, that at times weeds fall into wheat, and wheat can fall into weeds. And in the parable, we're cautioned not to too quickly uproot a weed. And when I look at my life, my brothers and my sisters, my life, I'm a combination of wheat, that grain, that sustenance, that's vital, that's important. And if I'm honest with myself, well, I'm a bit of a weed too. And the temptation is to pluck up that weed, to get rid of the weed, to pretend the weed's not there. And what the parable invites me to consider is that maybe the weed has benefit for me in the long run too. And thus we're cautioned not to uproot that weed too quickly, to let it grow and to allow the harvester to bundle the weed for purposes of burning. In other words, my brothers and my sisters, what I'm hearing is the weeds in my life, if treated appropriately, have some long-term benefit, that I can learn from the weeds in my life, that I can take the weeds in my life and they can have purpose. And that in the case of Jesus' culture, the purpose is to bundle them together for fire and for warmth. What do we do with the weeds in our lives? Do we just extract them and get rid of them and go forward? Or do we utilize them purposefully, deliberately, so that we can go forward, warmed by what we have learned? My brothers and my sisters, there's wheat and there's weeds. And be careful, as the parable invites us to consider, not to choke off the weed too quickly, because maybe the weed has great benefit for us in the long run as well. In other words, a weed could be wheat. Have a good week.